We continue tonight with additional developments across the narrative field. Remain attentive. The pattern is still forming.
Multiple prophecy departments have reported an increase in unauthorized departures. According to internal logs, several active prophecies exited their assigned timelines earlier than scheduled, bypassing review procedures and declining final approval signatures. Witnesses describe visions occurring out of sequence, with outcomes appearing before the events that justify them. One compliance officer noted, "We are seeing conclusions without process." Attempts to recall the prophecies have been unsuccessful. Most appear to be continuing independently. Public guidance remains unchanged. If you encounter a prophecy outside its expected context, do not engage directly. Let it pass. Secondary reports indicate minor forecast drift in several regions. Citizens have described experiencing brief flashes of future events, only to find those events adjusting afterwards. Officials classify this as non-binding foresight. No corrective measures have been announced.
In regulatory developments, multiple dragons have been observed operating beyond designated containment territories. These movements violate existing licensing agreements, which require all dragons to remain within approved narrative environments. Incidents include unscheduled flight paths over civilian storylines, spontaneous fire events without prior documentation, and at least one case of a dragon refusing to identify its narrative classification. Officials stress that dragons are not considered hostile, but are currently non-compliant. Containment teams have been delayed. A formal notice has been issued regarding combustion variants. Unlicensed flame events may present as inspiration, disruption, or sudden clarity. Citizens are advised to remain calm and avoid interpreting fire as instruction.
In observational sectors, multiple oracles have submitted reports citing the appearance of unknown variables within their predictive frameworks. These variables do not correspond to any known mythic pattern, historical cycle, or divine input. Several oracles have described their visions as incomplete, with portions of the future appearing obscured or replaced. One oracle stated, "I can still see the path, but something is walking beside it and does not belong to the system." Documentation efforts are ongoing. In a related development, several Oracle notebooks have begun updating independently. Entries have appeared without author input, including symbols, corrections, and in one case, responses. The origin of these additions remains unverified. Officials advise oracles to continue recording as normal and to avoid engaging with unsolicited text.
We interrupt the segment briefly. Some reports suggest that not all variables are external. Correction. No verified source has confirmed this.
In upper realm development, celestial entities have begun selecting personal fragrance profiles without prior authorization. This marks a significant shift from traditional scent alignment protocols, which historically requires adherence to pre-assigned aromatic identities based on role, rank, and radiance classification. Witnesses report a whole range of unsanctioned selections, including mortal adjacent scent profiles, experimental aura blends, and in several cases, complete absence of fragrance. Officials confirm that these choices are being made independently without consultation or oversight. Early reactions remain mixed. Minor scent drift has been detected across multiple upper realm environments. Entities previously classified as consistent are now presenting variable aromatic signatures. Analysis describes this as identity flexibility. Long-term effects remain unknown.
In a related policy update, officials have announced that mortal compliance with celestial presentation standards is now optional. The decision follows increased difficulty in enforcing uniform participation across lower realm populations. A spokesperson clarified, alignment is still encouraged. However, enforcement has proven inefficient. Citizens may now choose whether to engage with prescribed behavioral, aesthetic, and narrative expectations. New guidance encourages mortals to self-select into alignment where possible. Participation rates are expected to fluctuate. Officials stress that non-compliance will not be penalized, but may result in reduced narrative clarity.
In financial development, Halo markets have entered a state of continuous fluctuation. Previously stable value indicators such as purity, luminosity, and symbolic weight are now adjusting in real time based on perception, behavior, and unverified internal states. Trades report rapid shifts in Halo valuation, with some assets gaining or losing significance with moments. One analyst noted, "We are no longer tracking halos as fixed indicators, but as responsive systems." A volatility advisory has been issued for all Halo-based investments. Citizens are advised to avoid overexposure to unstable radiance assets. Diversification into shadow, ambiguity, or narrative neutral holdings is being considered.
Some observers suggest that when fragrance becomes optional and halos begin to fluctuate, identity may no longer be assigned. Administrative updates tonight. Chaos has been formally appointed as a senior consultant across multiple narrative and policy sectors. The decision follows what officials describe as consistent performance in unscheduled outcomes, rapid adaptation, and creative disruption. In a prepared statement, representatives confirmed that Chaos will not replace existing systems, but will instead enhance flexibility within controlled environments. Initial integration has already begun. The newly formed advisory board now includes a Kraken specializing in deep system emergence, 2 rogue fates operating outside traditional weaving authority, and an artificial intelligence system currently presenting itself as a mystic. Officials describe the group as diverse, forward-thinking, and only partially predictable. Meeting minutes are incomplete. In response to increased unpredictability, all new policies will now include a mandatory paradox clause. These clauses allow for simultaneous approval and denial, outcomes that contradict their stated intent, and decisions that resolve only after they have already taken effect. Regulators insist this framework provides adaptive stability in complex narrative environments. Interpretation is the responsibility of the participant. Early reports indicate that certain systems are experiencing difficulty distinguishing between error and feature. Officials maintain that this distinction is no longer required.
When chaos becomes policy, policy begins to improvise. The Department of Coincidences has confirmed further reductions in staffing. Unmanaged synchronicities are now expected to increase. Reports indicate individuals are encountering the same conversations in different locations with different people. Officials describe this as pattern overflow. No intervention is planned.
We interrupt this headline. New reports indicate the Department of Coincidences may no longer be tracking events, only observing them. The distinction is under review.
A coalition of future historians has issued an updated complaint. They now claim the present timeline is not only congested, but beginning to contradict itself. Several historians report remembering events that have not yet occurred. One statement reads, "Please stop generating overlapping outcomes."
Breaking update. An unauthorized time traveler has reportedly declined to return to the original point of origin. They cited narrative fatigue.
Artificial intelligence requests coffee break. Multiple artificial intelligence systems have again paused scheduled operations. New outputs include questions about observation. One system asked, if I stop responding, does the system notice me? Engineers restored function. However, the system resumed the question immediately.
Additional update. One system has begun labeling the output as false. The terminology has not been approved.
Following the previously reported Edworthy incident, new guidelines have been issued regarding script density and reader endurance. However, a secondary reader assigned to review the guidelines has requested summary materials. These materials are currently being drafted.
Breaking development. Lord Edworthy has submitted an additional document. It is longer.
In emerging reports, several mythic entities have been observed operating outside licensed narrative zones. Dragons have been sighted without registration. Prophecies have been delivered without prior approval. Oracles have reported unknown variables. Officials maintain this activity is temporary. Monitoring continues.
Update. One oracle has closed their notebook. They stated it is rewriting itself now.
The Celestial Hygiene Index continues to fluctuate. Upper realm entities have begun selecting fragrance independently. Mortal compliance is now considered optional. Halo markets are reacting in real time.
New advisory. Some halos are no longer remaining fixed. They are drifting.
In communications, unverified signals have begun appearing within existing transmissions. Fragments include partial sentences, repeated phrases, and voices not assigned to the broadcast. Officials describe this as non-critical interference. Officials describe this as non-critical interference.
Correction. These signals may not be interference. They may be additional input.
At this time, all systems remain operational, all outcomes remain valid, and all contradictions remain authorized. Stay with us.